So, imagine for a second that you are staring down this massive, incredibly high-stakes exam on central banking.
Oh, yeah. That is a stressful situation to be in.
Right. And specifically, you're looking at this incredibly dense document, Chapter 14 of the Reserve Bank of India's Operations Manual, the one that covers currency management.
Well, it's basically the textbook on how they maintain the physical trust of over 1 billion people.
Exactly. Every single day, their entire job is to ensure that, when a farmer in a remote village sells their crop, or like a commuter in a bustling city pays for a train ticket, the pieces of paper they exchange hold undeniable value.
Because if that paper rips, or if it runs out in the local ATM, or, and this is the scary one, if it gets successfully counterfeited by a bad actor, the economy of the most populous nation on earth doesn't just, hiccup.
It fundamentally grinds to a halt.
Yeah, it could completely seize up. It's an almost incomprehensible level of logistical responsibility. We tend to think of macroeconomic policy in terms of like abstract spreadsheets or interest rate adjustments.
Right, digital ledgers flashing on a stock exchange floor.
Exactly. But for the vast majority of people, the economy is intensely physical. I mean, it's the actual note in their wallet.
So that brings us to our mission for today's deep dive.
Yeah.
Because instead of making you, the listener, reread that massive, terrifying chapter right before your exam, we are going to do the heavy lifting for you.
That's right.
We are going to construct the ultimate, exhaustive, text-based mental infographic. If you just listen to this and memorize this audio blueprint, you will absolutely crush the exam.
I love that framing. And to build this mental infographic, we need to be systematic. So we're going to progress through 7 distinct structural layers.
Okay, let's hear the roadmap.
We'll start with the core concept, then move to the chronology or timeline. Then key terminology, important figures and organizations, vital statistics, the cause and effect relationships, and finally, a comparative matrix of global models.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to lay the foundation of the infographic right now with layer 1, the core concept. What is the title of our mental blueprint?
So the overarching title you want to hold in your head is this: The Life Cycle of the Rupee. Stability, trust, and distribution.
Love that. Stability, trust, distribution.
And if you need a 2-sentence summary for the exam, it's this. The RBI operates under a statutory mandate, specifically Section 22 of the RBI Act of 1934.
Section 22. Got it.
Right. And that mandate gives them the exclusive right to issue banknotes and manage the currency's entire life cycle. The goal here is to secure monetary stability, ensure an adequate supply of clean notes, and most importantly, maintain public confidence in the economy.
I really think that last part, the phrase maintain public confidence, is the secret sauce here.
Oh, absolutely. Because currency management at its core isn't just printing paper. It's the physical manifestation of a nation's macroeconomic stability.
It's essentially managing mass psychology, right? I mean, fiat currency only has value because we all collectively agree it does.
Exactly. The physical note is just the vessel for that agreement. If the public loses faith in the physical cash-like, if a vendor gets a note that is super dirty, taped together, or just feels fake, hesitation creeps in.
And hesitation is basically the enemy of a functioning economy.
Exactly. The whole financial system wobbles.
I actually really like to compare the RBI's role here to, like, a city's municipal water system. It's not just about turning on a tap and letting money print endlessly.
Right, because if you do that, you flood the city, which
Yes.
in economic terms is hyperinflation.
Exactly. You just drown everybody's purchasing power. So it's really about estimating exactly how much the city will drink, forecasting the demand. It's about ensuring the water is perfectly safe and clean, which we'll get to later with their clean note policy.
Good.
And it's about having this massive, robust plumbing system to deliver it everywhere.
And, having a system of drains to pull the dirty water back out. That closed-loop life cycle.
Right. Okay, so now that we understand the what and the why, we need to map out the when. This is layer 2, the timeline and chronology section for the exam.
Okay, so let's walk through the exact historical sequence of paper currency in India.
Yeah.
Because what's fascinating here is how chaotic it started. In the late 18th century, paper currency was first introduced, but it wasn't sovereign. It was issued via promissory notes by private and presidency banks.
Wait, like private companies were just issuing their own money?
Yeah. You had the Bank of Hindustan operating from 1770 to 1832, the Bengal Bank, the commercial bank, all issuing their own localized notes.
That sounds like a total nightmare for standardization. I mean, imagine trying to do business, but you constantly have to figure out if the specific private bank that issued the piece of paper in your hand is actually solvent.
It was incredibly high friction.
Yeah.
Trust was highly localized. So the first major structural shift happens in 1861.
1861. Okay, writing that down on the mental infographic. What happens?
The Paper Currency Act is passed. The government of India finally takes the sole monopoly over currency issuance. They stripped all those private banks of their right to issue money.
So that centralizes the trust.
Exactly. And then in 1913, they established the Office of Controller of Currency to manage this new monopoly.
Okay, but wait. I noticed a massive gap when I was looking at the source material. The government takes monopoly control in 1861. But the text says India's first currency printing press wasn't established until 1928 in Nashik, Maharashtra.
That's right.
Wait, so for over 60 years, the government controlled the currency but didn't even print it in India.
Yes, and that is a massive point about colonial economics. For decades, those initial notes were printed in England and shipped across the ocean to India.
That is wild. Talk about a supply chain vulnerability.
Oh, it was a huge vulnerability, especially when you think about World War I happening during that time, with merchant ships trying to navigate wartime waters just to bring physical cash to the domestic economy. So that 1928 Nashik Press was a profound step toward economic independence.
It brought the actual manufacturing capability home.
Right, which leads perfectly to the next milestone. In 1934, the RBI Act is enacted, and in 1935, the Reserve Bank of India officially begins operations and takes over the issue function from that old controller of currency.
So 1935 is when the modern RBI era truly starts.
Yep. Then you have three other major historical dates to memorize for the timeline. The 3 years of demonetization, 1946, 1978, and 2016.
We'll definitely dig into those later when we talk about cause and effect.
Good call. Then in 1999, the clean note policy is formally announced, and the final timeline point, bringing us right up to the modern day, is December 2022, with the launch of the digital rupee, the e-rupee.
Okay, that timeline is locked in.
Yeah.
Now, to pass this exam, you don't just need the dates, you need the exact vocabulary. Which brings us to layer 3, key terminology and definitions.
Okay, I'm going to rattle off the bolded, exam-ready definitions you absolutely must memorize. Ready?
Go for it.
First is CIC, or currency in circulation. This is defined strictly as the total of banknotes in circulation, plus rupee coins, plus small coins.
Got it.
Next, we have two types of demand they calculate. Incremental demand is the need for new currency to support economic growth and transactions. They forecast this using complex econometric models.
And I actually want to pause here and use an analogy to separate incremental demand from the second type, replacement demand.
Sure.
It's like running a massive delivery fleet. Incremental demand is when you're buying brand new trucks because your business is booming, you're expanding, you need more vehicles on the road.
Right.
But replacement demand is when you have to buy a new truck because the old one's engine blew out. You're just replacing what's broken.
That's a perfect analogy. The official definition of replacement demand is the need for currency to replace soiled or unfit notes, calculated as the reciprocal of a note's average lifespan.
So they literally have to track how fast the notes are breaking down.
Exactly, which brings us to the next term, the soil rate. This is the specific mathematical rate at which notes become unfit for circulation.
And to combat that soil rate, we have the next definition, the clean note policy.
Right. This is a directive urging banks and the public not to staple or write on notes. It also requires commercial banks to strictly sort their incoming notes into issuable and non-issuable piles to maintain the quality of cash in the economy.
Okay, what about the tech terms? I saw a few acronyms in the chapter.
Yes. MMI, MANI, Mobile Aided Note Identifier. It's a free, audio-enabled mobile app launched in January 2020. It helps visually impaired individuals identify note denominations. Though, crucial exam point here, it does not verify if a note is genuine or counterfeit.
Just reads the denomination, right.
Then there's CIM. This is the currency management module integrated into the RBI's core banking solution, which is called eCuber. It allows for near real-time tracking of the nation's currency inventory.
Okay, two more acronyms for the vocabulary list, SBS and CWBN.
SBS stands for Shredding and Briquetting System. These are the automated industrial machines used to destroy soiled notes in an eco-friendly manner. And CWBN is Cylinder Watermarked Banknote, the highly secure, specialized paper used for printing the currency.
Okay, vocabulary is set, but knowing the terms is only half the battle. The exam is definitely going to test who is in charge of what. So let's build layer 4 of the infographic, important figures and names.
This section is all about strict statutory jurisdictions. There is a very deliberate separation of powers. Let's start with the Government of India, the GOI.
Okay. What exactly is their role? Because the RBI issues the notes, right?
Right, but under the Coinage Act of 2011, the Government of India retains the sole right to mint coins. The RBI doesn't mint any coins. The GOI also issues the 1 rupee note.
Oh, wow.
And crucially, under Section 25 of the RBI Act, the GOI is the ultimate decision maker on the design, form, and material of all banknotes. They make those decisions based on recommendations from the RBI, but the final say is the government's.
Okay, so the GOI mints the coins and picks the designs. What does the RBI do?
The operational heavy lifting is done by the issue department of the RBI. Section 23 of the RBI Act mandates them to actually manage the currency lifecycle. They do this through a network of 19 regional offices.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. So, if the government mints all the coins, but the RBI is in charge of issuing them, the RBI literally has to buy the coins from the government to distribute them.
Basically, yes.
It's like the RBI is the ultimate national distributor, but the government owns half the manufacturing plants.
That's a great way to think about it. And speaking of manufacturing plants, we have to talk about who actually prints the paper notes. It's split between two distinct organizations.
Okay, who are they?
First is SPMCIL, the Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited. This is a wholly government-owned company.
So this is the government's factory arm.
Yes. They run 2 of the currency printing presses in Nashik and Dewas, and they run all 4 of the coin mints, which are located in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, and Noida.
Got it. 2 presses, 4 mints for SPMCIL. What's the second organization?
BRBNPL Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note, Mudran Private Limited. This is a wholly owned subsidiary of the RBI itself. They run the other 2 printing presses, located in Mysuru and Salboni.
Okay, so the printing is split right down the middle. 2 presses for the government, 2 presses for the RBI.
Exactly. BRBNPL also runs the Varnika ink factory, so they make their own secure ink. And they operate a paper mill called BNPMIPL, which is actually a joint venture with the government's SPMCIL.
Wow, they are vertically integrating the whole supply chain. Paper, ink, printing.
They have to. And the final organization to know for Layer 4 is the CRDC, the Currency Research and Development Center.
Right. Established by BRB and MPL in Mysuru.
Exactly. Their job is to conduct advanced adversarial analysis and develop next-generation security features to fight counterfeiters.
We'll talk about them more in a bit. So to make this mental infographic really pop for the examiner, you need cold, hard data. That's layer 5. Vital statistics and empirical data. I'm just going to fire off some quantitative data points and you give us the context.
Let's do it.
Macro data. The currency to GDP ratio for India hit a peak of around 12 to 14% near 2020, but it dropped to around 11% by 2023.
Right, which reflects a normalization post-pandemic and the rise of digital payments eating into the physical cash demand.
Infrastructure numbers. We mentioned these, but to recap, there are exactly 19 issue offices, 4 printing presses, and 4 mints.
Very important numbers to just have memorized.
Now, digital data. As of March 2024, the total value of e-rupee in circulation was 234.04 crore.
Yes, and the breakdown of that is fascinating. It's split into 228.34 crore in digital notes and 5.70 crore in denominationless coins.
Wait, stop. So there are e-rupee coins that have no specific denomination. They just equal 5.70 crore in total value.
Yeah.
That breaks my brain a little. I mean, it's like having physical change in your pocket that can morph into whatever exact fractional amount you need at the checkout counter.
It's the beauty of cryptographic digital ledgers. You don't need a discrete, minted object like a 1 rupee coin. You just transfer the exact mathematical fraction. It perfectly eliminates the friction of needing exact change.
That's incredible. Okay, back to the data. This is the memory test part of the exam, the physical note specifications. We need to know the dimensions and motifs of the Mahatma Gandhi new series.
Okay, this is where engineering meets design.
Right, so the 500 rupee note, stone gray, features the red fort, and it is 150 millimeters by 66 millimeters.
Yeah.
The 200 rupee note, bright yellow, Sanchi Stupa, 146 millimeters by 66 millimeters. And the 100 rupee note, lavender, Rani Ki Vav, 142 millimeters by 66 millimeters.
So notice a pattern there.
Yeah, the height stays exactly the same across all 66 millimeters, but the length shrinks by exactly 4 millimeters each time. 150, then 146, then 142. Why?
It's brilliant. They keep the height standardized at 66 millimeters to solve a massive infrastructure problem, ATM calibration.
Oh, so the machines don't have to adjust.
Exactly. The cassettes inside hundreds of thousands of ATMs don't have to mechanically adjust their vertical grips. But why shrink the length by exactly 4 millimeters for each descending denomination? That is scientifically determined to be the threshold at which a visually impaired person can reliably recognize the difference purely by touch.
Oh, wow. So the physical shape of the money is literally coded to tell you its value.
It aids financial independence.
That's so smart. Let's finish the list. The 50 rupee note is fluorescent blue, Hampy with chariot, 135 by 66 millimeters. The 20 is greenish yellow, Alora Caves, 129 by 63. And the 10 is chocolate brown, Sun Temple Konark, 123 by 63.
Oh, and one more vital data point for layer 5, the star series. If you see a star symbol between the prefix and the serial number on a note, it mathematically proves that note is a replacement for a defect that occurred during printing.
Awesome detail. Okay, layer 6. We have all these raw facts, but the exam will test if we know why these things happen, the cause and effect relationships.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, these aren't just isolated policies, it's systemic.
Let's map it out, because the public's confidence is directly tied to the physical quality of money.
Therefore, the RBI enforces a strict clean note policy, leading to the mass retrieval of soiled notes and their destruction via those SBS machines we talked about.
Right. And because visually impaired citizens faced immense challenges navigating concurrent note series with different sizes.
Therefore, the RBI developed and launched the MANI app, leading to audio-based identification of denominations via smartphones.
Because global counterfeiters constantly advance their replicating technologies.
Therefore, the RBI established the CRDC, leading to proactive adversarial analysis and the indigenous development of complex security features, like specialized inks and watermarks. They're basically acting as state-sanctioned counterfeiters to find the flaws before the criminals do.
Two sides of the same coin, really. Clean note protects against physical degradation. CRDC protects against criminal degradation.
Exactly.
Okay, next one. Because physical cash management involves massive logistical costs and digital payments are surging.
Therefore, the RBI launched the e-Rupee, leading to a digital complement that retains the features of physical cash without the massive physical overhead.
And the big one. Because the state occasionally needs to shock the system to remove black money, counterfeits, or combat hyperinflation.
Therefore, the government enacts demonetization, like we saw in 1946, 1978, and 2016, leading to the sudden stripping of legal tender status from specific high-value notes.
So what does this actually mean for the average person? Because it really sounds like the ultimate turn it off and turn it back on again IT solution for an entire economy.
It kind of is. You're forcing everyone to bring their old hoarded notes back to the formal banking system to upgrade to the new patch.
Mm.
And if you're holding millions in cash and can't legally explain to the tax authorities where you got it, you can't deposit it.
Your wealth just evaporates overnight.
Exactly. It forces the shadow economy out into the light.
Wow. Okay. To finish this exam prep blueprint, you need to understand how this massive operation actually reaches a country of over 1 billion people. Layer 7. The comparative matrix.
Right. Contrasting the three global models of currency distribution.
Let's start with the wholesale model, like they use in Australia.
In a wholesale model, the central bank only deals with bulk issuance. They print the pallets of cash, hand them over to commercial banks, and that's it. The commercial banks take on the entire burden of distributing to the public and sorting the notes.
Very hands-off. Then you have the complete opposite, the retail model, like in the USA.
Highly centralized. The central bank interacts directly with individual bank branches. They handle the granular distribution and all the fitness sorting centrally. If a local branch has dirty notes, they ship them all the way back to the central bank.
So Australia relies on the private sector. The US handles it all centrally. Where does India fit?
India must use the hybrid model. A purely retail model would instantly collapse under India's geographic scale and population size. But a purely wholesale model removes too much oversight from the RBI, risking that core mandate of public confidence.
So what's the middle ground?
The RBI issues bulk notes to strategically placed hubs called currency chests, and these are mostly housed inside commercial banks, like an SBI or HDFC branch.
I love this. I compare the hybrid model to like a massive fast food franchise operation.
Okay, I like where this is going.
The RBI is corporate HQ. They manufacture the secret sauce, the cash, but they don't drive a packet of sauce to every single customer. They ship bulk pallets to regional distribution hubs.
Which are the currency chests.
Right. And those hubs are managed by franchisees, the commercial banks. Then those hubs supply the local neighborhood branches. It's brilliant logistics.
And those currency chests act as extended arms of the RBI. They sort the notes, they distribute locally. But the RBI maintains massive digital oversight using that SolWAM software we mentioned to track inventory in near real time.
That's amazing. Okay, we did it.
We covered it all.
I want to congratulate you, the listener, on successfully building the ultimate mental infographic for Chapter 14.
You're ready for the exam.
Seriously. We recounted the core mandate, the historical timeline, the specific vocabulary, the key institutions, the hard data, the systemic causes, and the global models. You completely eliminate the need to reread that massive textbook chapter.
But, before we go, I want to leave you with one final kind of forward-looking question to mull over.
Oh, let's hear it.
We just spent all this time talking about the intricate physical layer 5 of our infographic, the Nashik presses, the SPS shredding machines, the currency chests. If the e-rupee successfully scales and it replicates all the trust, stability, and anonymity of physical cash without the immense logistical nightmare,
Yeah.
will this entire physical architecture eventually become nothing more than a museum exhibit?
Wait, really? Just completely obsolete?
Think about it. No more Varnica ink, no more specialized watermarked paper, just a seamless digital ledger.
That is a staggering thought to end on, a whole infrastructure just fading into history.
It's definitely something to think about.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. As always, best of luck on your exam, keep questioning the systems around you, and keep digging deeper.